Welcome back to Legends in the Making. This isn't hype. This isn't surface level motivation. This is where we dismantle the lies culture sells us, has sold us, and we are here to reset the standard. Today, we're talking about one of the hottest topics in sports right now, NIL. Everybody's calling it an opportunity, but let's be real. For most athletes, it's not a blessing, it's a setup because money without maturity, without structure, without integrity will break you faster than you built it. And I will share this. When we think about NIL, we're focused on chasing a deal, but we're not focused on who am I? Who am I supposed to be? And how does this brand align with what I'm meant to share and do in the world? Everything is such a surface level opportunity where no one's really learning. I mean, let's be real. When we look at NIL, it's poured billions into college athletics, but 65% of athletes say they've received no real guidance on how to manage it. And we see that all the time at Blueprint to Bluechip. We see students that are gifted cars and don't realize that there's going to be a tax implication at the end of the year. You name it, it happens, and the consequences fall truly on the athlete. And ultimately, the vast majority of them don't even know what hit them. And when you're chasing money, when you're chasing deals versus figuring out who you are and how you represent yourself, and does this fit who you want to be, you're going to have problems. NIL could be such a blessing to learn how to market yourself, represent yourself, but in alignment with who God, source, the universe, divine intends you to be. Because if you're doing it to just make money, you're going to long-term have a problem, because what you're going to find is essentially you're selling yourself out. The other reality is we hear about all this money, but the majority of NIL goes to 5% of the athletes, maybe even less than the 5%. So how does that benefit the vast majority of you? How do we make it where there's more opportunity for everybody involved? And this comes back to, how do you build your own personal brand? And most athletes don't even understand the contracts that they're signing. We've had people sign away their name, image, and likeness in perpetuity, which means, let's say you make it big, this company now owns 5, 10, 20, whatever was in that contract, % of you regardless. So it's like you're signing away things that you should not be signing away, that are not in the best interest of you. And who's looking out for the best interest of you? Most organizations, if you have an athlete agent, let's be real, the agent's looking out for the agent. They aren't looking out for the best interest of you. They're looking out, how do they get paid the most? Most people in this world, I'm saddened to say this, but the vast majority of people are not looking out for your own best interests. They're looking out for theirs, what's in it for them. And it's so sad, because you think these people are in it with you, and they're offering you really terrible advice because they're thinking about their own pocketbook, not thinking about what ultimately is the best for you. And so most athletes are chasing the bag, as they say. They're out chasing the money. And you're now starting to see parents even want to take over that reign and do that for them. Like, how do I get my kid an NIL deal? How about we focus on how do we make our kids the very best, the most upstanding human beings that contribute to society, versus chasing temporary rewards and successes. Because money doesn't equate to value. Your child is infinitely worthy. They are worthy of all that is and all that ever will be. They are magnificent. Do they understand that? Do they understand who they are? Are they being raised in a household that teaches them the essence of who they are and to be loving and kind and to be who God intended them to be versus let's go chase another contract? Money doesn't equate to security. It doesn't equate to success. It's not a representation of our worthiness. And ultimately, what you see with most of these athletes is that it ultimately equals collapse because they don't have the foundation. They don't have the character. They're not being taught how they're supposed to carry themselves, who they're meant to be. They're just chasing the money. And then we have coaches that have so much on their plate that they cannot step in to be any more support because they have all the kids to juggle with. So when we think about the problem, money doesn't fix what's broken. It only magnifies it. So if you think you're getting a great NIL deal and you don't have the foundation of character, integrity, and discipline, you're just going to magnify the problems that already exist. So let's hear from an athlete that wrote to us. Dear Legends, I just signed my first NIL deal. Everyone around me says I should be hyped. But to be honest, I feel pressure I wasn't ready for. I got people asking for money, brands expecting me to perform, and my family counting on me. I thought NIL was going to make things easier, but now I'm more anxious than ever. I feel like I'm pretending to be somebody I'm not just to keep everybody happy. Is this what success is supposed to feel like? Signed, paid, but pressured. Wow. First and foremost, thank you for your honesty, for your transparency. And you are absolutely not alone in this. I think most athletes in your spot feel that exact same pressure, but most won't admit it. They're living in an internal hell around themselves because they have all this pressure on them. They're trying to people please and keep everybody happy. And now you're at every moment, you're caught in a situation where you can't get out of it. And the truth is NIL isn't going to create your identity. It's going to expose it. The pressure at some point will become so great that you will crack under the pressure. You're not going to enjoy being in that situation anymore. Success isn't supposed to feel like you're pretending. It's supposed to feel like freedom. And that's why character and integrity and discipline matter more than just the bag, more than just the paycheck. And if you do not build a foundation around who you are, who you want to be, the values that you want to espouse, being aligned, you're essentially being set up to fail. And it's so sad to watch because most people are getting caught in the aftermath because they're so focused on just chasing the money. And it's like at some point you will not be able to keep up. Like I just keep thinking about that letter, paid but under pressure. And it's like you're living in this silent hell because you're caught between trying to please the brands, please anybody else that expects you to perform, your family, your friends, you name it. You're living this internal silent hell because you're trying to keep everybody happy when we should be teaching you what makes you happy. You know, when I see these parents living vicariously through their kids as part of our program, that is a huge red flag, whether that's they want them to be at a certain level in sports, whether that's they want to run out and try to get them an NIL deal. It's like, I don't think most kids are thinking, how do I go get an NIL deal at a very young age without the parents' involvement? And why would you want to monetize your child? Have you thought about the long-term ramifications of that? When your child's 30 years old and it's like, God, my parents made me do this so that I got paid. I mean, we have to think beyond the instantaneous money. Money doesn't buy worth. Money is an energy. Money is a frequency of who you're being. And money can come and money can go. You hear all the stories, whether it's athletes that make it and then 78% are bankrupt, whether it's people that win the lottery and then they're on the, they've lost it all or spent through it all in a short order of time. Money is just energy. So finding yourself and building on yourself and going, I align with this because it feels right to me is more important than chasing the NIL deal. And I will tell you, the work that we're doing at Blueprint to Bluechip is unlike any I've ever seen because it's focused on you. It's focused on your student athlete. It's focused on the parent. It's focused on how to build legacy and build the individual you want to become, and not focused on just the instantaneous short-term success. Yes, you can learn how to market yourself and get an NIL deal, but it's about building a foundation where you can use that skill set for the rest of your life. So let's be real. Even Jesus flipped the table in the temples when people sold out what was sacred. NIL isn't evil, but NIL without integrity is just another table in the temple. It looks like opportunity, but it robs the very soul of the game. Think about that. Are we acting from a place of light? Are we acting from a place of source? Are we acting from a space of integrity? Are we doing it for the right reasons? Or are we doing it for the egoic reasons? For the money. Let's secure the money. Let's make all the money. Money, money, money. Money will buy us happiness. No, money doesn't buy you anything. Happiness is an intrinsic game. Your externality should be a reflection of your internal state of being. And if you want to be caught in the prison of selling yourself out, of being like paid but under pressure, continue to do so. But I will tell you, you're going to rob your life of a lot of joy and a lot of happiness. First and foremost, figure out who you are and who you want to be and the legacy you want to leave here. Because each one of you has a distinct reason why you are meant to be here. And so you've got to focus on that. You've got to focus on your identity before you focus on your influence. Who are you becomes your influence. Focus on who you want to be, not about getting paid, not about chasing these short-term things that will eventually come back, I promise, and bite you in the ass. We want to help you find your identity, who you are without the game. You are so much more than who you are in that game. You are so much more than the NIL deal. What are your standards before you sign any contracts? Who do you want to be? Is everything that you would do aligned with that? Are you willing to say no? Because you may not get paid for that. No. We have such an opportunity to be in our integrity of standing for what we stand for. And how do you create systems that outlast the hype? We worked with an athlete who was close to walking away from his sport because NIL was crushing him. The pressure of all that came with it was crushing him. Within weeks of working our blueprint, he shifted from fragile and fractured to leading with identity, discipline, and clarity. That's what our systems do. That's why hype alone collapses. Other programs teach you to chase money. We build leaders who steward it. So again, and the problem isn't NIL. The problem is chasing money without maturity. NIL without integrity is an opportunity. It's collapse on delay. So if you are done chasing the hype, you're ready to build a foundation that sustains you for life, DM me the word legacy or go to bluechip.com, book an appointment. I would love to talk to you. Don't wait until money exposes what immaturity should have built. This isn't motivation. This is a movement. You're listening to Legends in the Making.